Now with the folks fighting a tsunami of voter misinformation. They call themselves Election Protection. And ABC senior Washington reporter Devin Dwyer takes us inside.
So, Kristen, this would be the nerve center of the election protection hotline in an ordinary election.
The voter call center at the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law is normally buzzing, as we saw back in 2018.
And what are you calling about today?
In 2020, with a tidal wave of voting changes caused by COVID, the virtual hotline is busier than ever before. Kristen Clark, who oversees the program, is one of the nation's top nonpartisan election lawyers.
We tend to get a lot of calls from black voters, from Latinos and Native American voters who face disproportionate rates of voter suppression and voting discrimination.
An army of 12,000 nonpartisan volunteer lawyers are working the hotline from home. Nadine Mompremier is working nightly shifts from her Brooklyn apartment.
What are some of the biggest concerns you're hearing right now from voters?
People whose names have been removed from the polls. So let's say you voted in 10 elections and you decided not to vote in 2016, you're trying to vote in 2020, but your state has removed you from the polls because you missed one election.
6 states have so-called use it or lose it laws that cancel registrations of inactive voters. At least 17 million people were moved from state registration lists between 2016 and 2018 alone. Advocates say making sure your registration is up to date and active is a key step to take right now.
Thank you for calling Election Protection. This is John.
John Bennett has helped voters on the hotline for 12 years.
Our advice is just, if you do want to vote by mail, request your ballot as soon as you can.
Raising the stakes, a tide of misinformation about mail-in voting, as now 45 states plus D.C. allow anyone to vote absentee this election as a result of COVID-19. President Trump sowing confusion by recently suggesting that voters who mail their ballots this year should show up in person on Election Day to vote again if their ballot isn't already in the system.
And it's never legal to vote twice.
That's correct.
And there's a swirl of unfounded claims about fraud. Voting by mail has been a regular part of American elections since the Civil War.
Is there a particularly pernicious piece of misinformation that has really kind of started to take hold?
Probably the absentee ballot. I know we've gotten a lot of questions of, if I mail my ballot in, will my vote count?
What do you say?
Yes.
Make sure you know the deadline for getting registered to vote. Make sure you know when early voting is happening in your state. But really think about October as election season.
A season that starts with getting registered to vote. For ABC News, I'm Devin Dwyer in Washington.
And our thanks to Devin for that.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.